Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by your faculty Sushma KP. What is the topic that we will be discussing today? India's first anti-terror policy PRAHAAR is released. Now first and foremost, when we tell India has released its first ever anti-terror policy, first of all, we have to understand when we say terror, we are having threat from land, air, water. So when it is from all sides of this, we want a complete holistic approach which deals with terrorism coming through all these alongside trying to tackle with your new ways of how terrorism is spreading alongside radicalism. Understanding? This is released by your Union Ministry of Home Affairs in February 23rd, 2026. Now, if you see, your Ministry of Home Affairs has released National Counter-Terrorism Policy and Strategy. In that, what are the, let's say, object of discussions they've taken up means, they started with threat profile, counter-terrorism strategy. Under this, we have prevention of terror attack, response, segregation capacities, human rights, and your aligning and shaping international efforts, recovery, resilience, and also a way forward. So this is the entire picture of the holistic plan that they have created. Now, see, first and foremost, if you have to see what is the background or basis of your terrorism, the terror threats are evolving. Evolving means they are no longer limited or restricted to just border areas. They are trying to infiltrate in many ways. They are targeting youths in different ways. And also one more issue is many organizations, understanding your terror outfits, have held it that India is one of their attack centers. So when this is the scenario we are facing, so we have to amp up the way we deal with terrorism. And if at all anything, the government and our home ministry, everything, they have made it very clear that India is not going to budge to your terrorism in any form. Understanding? That is first thing. The Home Minister Amit Shah has also held that earlier that such a holistic provision will come to deal with terror as a whole. Understanding? Because again, this is new India which deals with terrorism in all forms. Okay? As one, and the reaction to India is going to be very bad compared to what it was earlier. What I'm telling, India's reaction will be very bad compared to earlier means we have new ways of dealing with terrorism. That means we will at no longer just keep the objectives limited to only border infiltration, nor only basing on certain particular border areas or particular outfits or certain communities. Understanding, terrorism in all forms is seen as the enemy. Now, what are the triggers means? Your cross-border terrorism, radicalization, especially through your internet, your drone attacks in border states, and also one of the major things that we have witnessed is your Pahalgam terror attack. Understanding? So now what is this PRAHAAR? PRAHAAR is National Counter Terror Policy and Strategy. So how is it? Like I told you, holistic multi-agency, preventive plus punitive. That is, we will try to make sure terrorism does not happen. If it happens, the impact, that is how we are going to punish them. Both are dealt with. So this is one important objective of your PRAHAAR. Now, if you're someone who enjoys local news, national news, international news, subscribe to Legacy IAS Academy channel because we provide deep insights into these topics. Now coming back, what is the goal of PRAHAAR? First and foremost, destroy the concept of terrorism in any ecosystem. That is, whether it is in the form of budding stage, mature stage, or latent stage. Terrorism in all forms is prohibited and zero tolerance is there for terrorism. Understanding? And this will be for what? For strengthening our national security. So how is a threat identified? Traditionally, if you see, it is through your cross border terrorism, sponsored terrorism, through your sleeper cells, infiltration networks. So the groups which we have flagged as to, because these groups have mentioned that target on India is their principle. Your Al Qaeda, ISIS, jihadi outfits, all these. This was traditional version of how threats we could intercept. But the new age threats are through your cyber terrorism, your criminal hackers, nation state cyber attacks, encryption based networks, dark web operations, and crypto funding. See, one thing with regarding to your terrorism is, first and foremost, you have to do two things if you have to choke terrorism. First is cut off its funding. Second is cut off its contact with the sponsors. Understanding? So, if we have to deal with the new age threats, we need a holistic way to deal with this throughout India for our national security. That is why PRAHAAR has come in. India faces multi-domain threats, like I told you, with land, air, and water, and also the target areas now, if you see, where these people are targeting is your power grid, railways, ports, defense, your atomic energy plants, understanding, and also largely, if a trend it is seen, it is more of technology-driven terrorism. Meaning how they're using drones, robotics, AI-based propaganda, encrypted messages. It is a worry that if these kind of technological advancement falls into the hands of the radicalists, falls into the hands of these terror outfits, it is creating a ruckus. Understanding? Now, first and foremost, there are certain things called as CBRNED materials. That is, immediately a flag will happen when you are trying to access these kind of things. What are those? Chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, explosive, digital, your challenge detection, monitoring. That is, if anywhere regarding to any of these things, let's say a person is trying to bring or take in these aspects, then immediately it gets flagged. Okay, because terrorism has new faces which we are seeing. Now, another thing is, there is a linkage between terror groups and organized crime networks, wherein the support is provided through your logistics, recruitment, funding, safe havens. And also, they are finding new ways to fund these people and provide support to these people by creating your fake NGOs, understanding, your whitewashing places. That's what I told you. If terrorism head has to be cut off, then it is through cutting off the funding and also through the contact with the sponsors. And another important thing this Prahar has dealt with is your radicalization and recruitment. Radicalization has been happening in different ways. For example, with respect to online. Second thing is innocent youth are being corrupted with false propagandas, AI videos, images, and also in prisons they are being radicalized. Understanding? And online gaming chats, religious extremist forums. So, government's response in how to deal with this radicalization, the first stage is first in monitoring, counseling, and also de-radicalization program, and legal action should be there from the very starting. Why they have told that means, based on the threat perception of that individual, the punishment has to be given in what level they are. Understanding, government has also told as to our society should also play a huge role in trying to de-radicalize. How? For example, you will use community leaders, religious preachers, NGOs, educators in order to showcase what will happen if you take that path of radicalization. Understanding? So this will prevent violent extremism and promote communal harmony. And they have also specifically spoken about your prison radicalization, which is where majority people get in contact. Okay, with respect to your prisons are seen as hotspots for radicalization. They come in contact with people. Once they release out, they are again bought into the system. So this what they are trying to do is reduce the inmates from being radicalized by others. How are they trying to do? Monitor the prisoners. The staff has to be taught as to you will not let the people be in contact with these kind of people, and also create the de-radicalization within the jails. Okay, and also first and foremost with respect to Prahar, I told it is holistic, which means we have to create a uniform terror structure. How? Standard anti-terror mechanism across all states is needed, because terrorism is transnational. It does not have a particular area of origin. It spreads around. And also, states respond differently, but all of the states need one important thing: coordinated actions. Understanding? So, this will lead to how faster response, intelligence sharing, and also joint operations can be conducted. Another thing is, how will you reduce the funding? First thing is, you will deny terrorists access to funds. Second thing is, how are funds getting dispersed to them in the first hand? Through your Hawala transactions, cryptocurrency, NGO misuse, fake charities. So you will take a crackdown at these, because these are funding for your terrorism. Next, one important line if you have to take from this policy is, they have clearly told terrorism is not linked to any religion or ethnicity. Understanding, they are not trying to profile any particular community and link it with terrorism. So, what does the importance of this particular take back from the policy is, prevents communal profiling, aligns with constitutional values, and supports inclusive security. Understanding? So, in total, what can we expect from your Prahar doctrine? Means it moves beyond conventional terrorism. It is a big doctrinal shift which desensitizes, that is, it does not associate a particular community with terrorism, and also it integrates cyber technology, finance, and ideology. So, on the whole, it is a whole of society plus whole of government response for the answer to deal with terrorism. With this, we've come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.